Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy when you are all here. Today, we are going to have a webinar training from New Zealand Tertiary College, a Category 1 tertiary education provider with over 40 years experience in providing internationally recognized qualification in New Zealand. My name is Hướng from Yes Education, and along with me today, we have Miss Alice from New Zealand Tertiary College. In this webinar, Alice will give us full overview information related to the college, including key selling points, admission process, or support for international students, and many more. During Alice presents, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to text in the Q&A box. So we will answer at the end of this webinar. Now I would like to invite Miss Alice to start the training.
Thank you, Chị Hương, and hello everyone. I'm very glad to be here today, and thank you to Yes Education for inviting me for the training section today. As Ms. Hương briefly discussed, today we will talk about our vocational NZTC and other two schools, but the main character today is still NZTC. So I hope that you can listen to me and follow through. If you have any question, please feel free to send us the question in the chat box. We will have the Q&A section at the end to answer your questions. So let's get started. Before I start, maybe some of you already know me, or maybe you not. So my name is Alice. I'm the Senior Regional Manager for Indochina of Up Educations. Before we go into introduce NZTC, I would like to show you, introduce to you a little bit about Up Education and what we are offering for international students at the moment. If you can see my screen now, on the left-hand side, when you're looking at the screen, is our pathway divisions. It means that we offer the foundation, diploma, and pre-master for the university partnerships in both New Zealand and Australia. For Australia, we have 3 partners: University of Tasmania, Charles Darwin, and Swinburne. And in New Zealand, we provide the foundation programs for 3 university partners. University of Auckland is our partner for 26 years already, together with AUT and Victoria Wellington. So please, if you have any inquiry for pathway to progress into the 6 university partner, please feel free to reach out to Ms. Hương for any inquiry you might have. And then on the right-hand side, if you can see, in Australia and New Zealand, we also have our own college and institutions. This is actually what makes us different from other education provider. So we have both pathway and our own institution and schools. In Australia, we have ICHM, which is we focus on training hotel management. And we also have Acknowledge Education, that we accept the student from very young age to study year 11 and year 12 in Australia, Melbourne campus. We also have bachelor degree, diploma degree, and even up to master degree. We actually have master of social work in Acknowledge Education. But of course, I hope that I can see you guys in another section with Yes Education to talk more about Acknowledge later. But for today, I will focus on the school that we are having in New Zealand, NZMA, UB, and NZTC. So for no further ado to the main today, I would like to move to the next slide. So of course, I think that the question that you receive most often from the parents and the student is that, what is the scholarship? Because they really care about the scholarship, right? So for us, we are giving a quite generous amount of scholarship for our school in New Zealand. We are offering 25%, up to 25% for every programs in our school. And actually this 25% or 15%, it depends on how much the student gonna get. It's gonna be along the way. For example, if they get 25% for bachelor degree and the bachelor degree will gonna be 3 years, the 25% will apply for 3 years, not only the first year. So actually that's why I said that it's quite generous amount of the scholarship from Up Education. And you can see that I put the 3 logos of the 3 schools here. So it means that it applies for all 3 schools. The first, I would like to, the first and also the main point for today is NZTC. It's a New Zealand Tertiary College. We have 2 main campus in New Zealand, one in Auckland and another one in Christchurch. However, you don't need to worry because with NZTC, you can study everywhere in New Zealand. The reason is because our way of teaching is that we teach home central base. It means that during your time, even you want to live in Hamilton, you want to live in Dunedin, as long as you can find a home center there, you can go there and study NZTC because the academic lesson will be delivered online. Most of the time you will do the practicals at the home center, so you don't need to worry about the campus. So some of the key selling point that I normally share with agents so the agent can also give the idea to parent and student. As Ms. Hương said in in the beginning, all of the 3 schools that I'm introducing to you today is belong to NZQA category 1. So it means that it's also related to to the thing you might think of it like the teaching quality and also the quality of facility and also related to visa. But of course, I cannot talk about the visa rate. But for example, if some of you working with Australia, very familiar with Australia, you know that they divided into level 1, 2, 3, right? So category and ZQA is quite similar. We belong to the level 1. Yeah. And also, as I briefly mentioned about the home center base, it means you know that if you want to become a teacher and you look after the very young children, actually it's not something like very academic. It's more about the skill, about you handle the situation, about how you deal with the babies, right? So actually, beside from the academic, compulsory, you need to learn. But actually, the practical experience is the most important thing when you want to work in this industry. So that's why 95% of our students, because we have the home center base, so actually the outcome for jobs opportunity outcome for our students is really high because they already get familiar with the work, they get used to the jobs, and they actually learn a lot throughout the process with the home center base. And another thing that I cannot not mention is that once you study our teaching programs, you can work as a teacher, early childhood teacher in both New Zealand and Australia. So I know that some of the students now, they find it very difficult to go to Australia first. So maybe they can think of going to New Zealand first to study and get the certificate, then move to Australia to work. It's also a kind of like a journey, a pathway journey for the student who cannot go to Australia at the moment. New Zealand is very close to Australia, you know that, right? And this is every programs that we are now delivering at NZTC, but you can easily tell the difference between these programs because I put in 2 different color. You can see that for the light purple programs, 3 programs, and you can see that in these 3 programs, we have the teaching in the name. Bachelor of Teaching, Early Childhood, Graduate Diploma in Teaching, Master of Teaching and Learning. So this already tell you the point, right? If the student want to become a teacher, early childhood teacher, they need to study these 3 programs, including the teaching. And then these 3 programs is recognized in both New Zealand and Australia. But don't worry, because some students, they want to follow this career, but they don't want to become teacher. They can work as a consultant, or they can work at the administration in the home center, in the child care, so they can study the dark purple programs. I can share with you. Do you know that in New Zealand, in both New Zealand and Australia, if you want to become a teacher, any level, early childhood, primary, secondary, when you decided to study, the entry requirement for English is higher than most of other programs. For example, if you want to study bachelor degree, any program like business, business, commerce, marketing in New Zealand and Australia, normally you only need IELTS 6.0, no band less than 5.5, right? For bachelor degree. But if you want to become a teacher, you need to have IELTS 7.0, or band is 7. So that's why I said that many students, maybe they don't want to become a teacher, because they cannot have that IELTS in the entry requirement. So they choose other programs like diploma in early childhood and care. They also can work as a supporter, administration, and consultant in these childcare. So don't worry about that. The next important thing that I think that everybody want to care after they know about program is that the tuition fee. I will give you the example. If you go to the government university in New Zealand, 1 year for bachelor degree, not about teaching program, just about the general program that the student knows, very popular to the student, for example, like business or commerce. So 1 year for government university, maybe you need to pay the tuition fee up from 35,000 to maybe 38,000 per year, New Zealand dollar per year. But if you look in this table, I already summarized, for example, our bachelor teaching, the course that can lead you to become the teacher in New Zealand. 1 year, our tuition fee only 26,000 New Zealand dollar per year. And this is not include the scholarship yet. You can see that, for example, if your student get 15% of scholarship, they only need to pay 22,000 per year. And this scholarship gonna be remain for the 3 year. So every year they only need to pay this much. The second, if the student is really good and they have 25% of scholarship, they only need to pay less than 20,000 per year, only 19,500 per year. And I think that if you invest only this much and you can become a teacher, it's really worth it to invest and to study this. And of course, we have the Master of Teaching and Learning. It's going to be 52 study weeks. It's around like a year, more than a year, a little bit. Yeah. And the scholarship now is automatic, and you only need to pay 42,000 for the whole master degree for tuition fee. Yeah. And of course, this information I will share with Yes Education team, so they can share with you later for more information. And maybe you cannot remember everything, it's okay. Please always reach out to Yes team. Yeah. So I just want to tell you more about the key selling point about our teaching program. Teaching means that you can lead to teacher in New Zealand, Australia. You know that if you go to other university, maybe the main intake for Australia and New Zealand is July and February every year, right? But for us at NZTC, we open the intake every Monday. Why is a key selling point? Because you know that, especially if any of you coming from Myanmar or other country, that the situation for visa is very unpredictable at the moment. So the student can be a little bit relaxed. As long as the student get the visa and ready to go, they can always go and start the course on the following Monday. They don't need to worry about like late for the intake in February or late for the intake in July. So this is a key selling point. And also we are the private provider, but the students study with us, they have all the benefits for post-study working visa similar to university from government university. For example, if they study master degree with us, if they study 1 year and 1.5 years, after they complete the master degree, they will have 3 years of post-study working visa. And if they study 3 year bachelor degree, they will have 3 years of post-study working visa. And actually, you can study anywhere in New Zealand. And especially for New Zealand, we don't have the regional or non-regional like Australia. So it means that you can study everywhere and you still have the same benefits as everywhere along New Zealand. Yeah. Also, of course, I already talked about the entry requirement for English, and we are not required you to have the background for early childhood if you want to study with us, but the English entry requirement is not compromised. You need to have English. Yeah. This is the application document. Actually, you don't need to, you can screenshot or you can always contact to Miss Hương for the list, because you can see that the student need to, because it's a teacher, right? It's a teacher. So it's quite, they have many other, let's say, additional requirement for document compared to other general majors. Like I said, delivery mode, central base, it means that most of the time you will work at the TRICARE or central base. And do you know one fun fact I just know recently? I don't know in your country, but in my country, I'm based in Vietnam. So if you go to, let's say, government government preschool in Vietnam. So one class, normally the amount, the amount of baby is around like 10 to 15, right? But one class only have two teacher to take care of 10 to 15 children. But in New Zealand, one early childhood teacher maximum only need to take care of 3 children. So it means that you can see that actually the workload might not be very heavy, like coming from Asia country like Vietnam. Yeah. So actually this is not, and especially you don't need to like do the late night shift or anything like nursing or other career path. So it's also another point that you might show to your student and parents. So for job opportunity, you see that now it's actually in demand, not only in New Zealand, but also Australia, for the early childhood, because you know that now everybody, both parents, they working, so they really need to send their children to the TRICARE. And you remember I talked about that we have the teaching program and we also have the non-teaching program. It means that you can work as administration consultant. So this is that. So you can totally see the difference in the English entry requirement is lower. So the idea I want to share here is that when you have the student that they care about this program, please feel free to reach out so we can support you by finding the best program for them. And we give you the information, because it's now, if I go into detail, I think that you might be like freaked out because so many detail, but don't worry. As long as you have the inquiry, you can go through our website or the slide, or you can reach out to us so I can see that which programs gonna be the best fit for your student. So this is a bachelor degree pathway. You can see that if the student cannot really start with bachelor pathway due to the English entry requirement, most of the case they cannot start because of the English entry requirement. They can start from like diploma or level 5 or level 6. However, please note that we are not offering package offer. So it means that the student need to apply for one by one programs. Yeah. So this is a Master of Early Childhood Education level 9. This will not be the teaching. This is the education level 9, and you see that we only require 6.5 for the entry requirement. So actually, this is good for what target student, like the student they want to find an opportunity in New Zealand, that they want to study this and get a 3-year post-study working visa. But they cannot get the 7.0, so they can decided to go with this master course, only study for 1 year, and then after that they have 3 years to stay in New Zealand to find a job opportunity and think further future plans. Yeah, you can see that. See, you don't need to become a teacher, but you can become a tutors. You can become admin or unregistered teacher or try carer, like you take care of them, but you are not teacher. Yeah. So that about the NZTC. Like I discussed with Miss Huang, I would like to take this opportunity to also briefly introduce to you about other two member under Up Education in New Zealand as well, because I know that lately the inquiry and the interest for New Zealand increased due to the many benefits for immigrations and also for the education quality. So each our school actually focus on very specific and niche program. For example, NZTC, like I just present, is only about early childhood, right? For UB, we focus on creativity, marketing, and software IT. Software engineering also belong to the green list tier 1 now at New Zealand, in New Zealand. So you might also look after the program, look at the programs. Yeah. For campus for UB, we are now have 3 campus in Auckland, in Wellington, and in Christchurch. So actually, the student can have a quite flexible choice to choose where to study. Please remember, I just remind again, in New Zealand, a student can study everywhere and still have the same benefit for both study working visa. So this is the all the program that we are offering in UB. You know that we offer from level 4 until level 9, but of course the major is different. I think that the most we have the most inquiry for the program that Bachelor of Software Engineering, only 3 year, 26,000 tuition fee per year, and exclude the scholarship, so the student can have a scholarship like 15 or 25%, and then after that get 3 year post-study working visa. Another 3 program that we get a lot of interest from the student international, especially from my region, Indochina, is that master. Do you know that? Because you know that New Zealand now they have the scheme that for master student, they can also bring your family together with them. So if parent, if father or mother study master, they can bring the partner. And if you already have children, you can also bring along your children. And if your children reach certain age, they can get free education in government school in New Zealand. So that's why lately we receive many inquiry for post graduate like master degree. And you see that the time for us is all the way 1 year. You only need to study 1 year. And after that, you get 3 years post-study working visa. So actually, this is very economically and also ideal option for you that you want to find, if you want to plan a longer future in New Zealand. For this master degree, we require you to have the background related to the programs, and also IELTS is 6.5. Each brand is 6. Why is more? Sorry. 6.5, and each band is 6. For bachelor degree, the general score is IELTS 6, and each band is 5.5. It's similar to other program with the same level. For the last school today that I want to introduce is about NZMA, New Zealand Management Academies. In this NZMA, we also belong to the NZQA category 1, and our employment rate is quite high. It's almost 90%. So the student can find jobs after they study with us. Also, you can see that for NZMA, we have many campuses in New Zealand along the country. So this is also another key selling point for students. This list is everything we have at NZMA now. You can see that we divided into different streams: baking, cookery, hospitality, healthcare, construction, pharmacy, and education. I think that I'm not sure about because I cannot talk much about visa, but I can share with you that the visa rate from us is good. It's good for now. So that's why that we some agent they really care about the visa rate. But for us, up education in general, we have quite good rate for the visa. So that's why for the agent, I also hope you support us by checking the applications and also find the right match for your student with our course. But for NZMA, you can see the difference from the other two. We don't have level 7, which mean bachelor degree, or level 9, which mean master degree. For NZMA, is we have level 6 and from level 3 to level 6 in different stream, and they can be when they can be eligible for sponsor work visa after study with us. But for the visa, you might want to read on the Immigration New Zealand website, or you can get the advice from Yes Education team. I can see that we actually have the question coming. So before I finish my presentation, I would like to share with you that we have the agent portal that you can go and see our detail of our program, or you can always reach out to us for questions. Thank you for listening to me, and think now is coming to the Q&A section, chị Hương.
Yes, thank you, Miss Alice, very much for sharing a lot of information about NZTC as well as other institutions of up education. I believe that after this webinar, you will have more choices when advising students to study in New Zealand, especially for ones who are keen on teaching or creative business or healthcare career in New Zealand. Now, question time. I can see that there are some questions here, so Miss Alice and I will answer one by one. The first question is, do you have English tests for students without IELTS?
For our vocational school, we don't have the placement test yet, but for our pathway, we do have our free English test, but for pathway side only for New Zealand. But for vocational in New Zealand, we don't have the English placement test. However, I just received a good news that we, as Up Education, we just signed the MOU with one of the English school in Auckland that we might issue that the student can apply for only one visa from English to our vocational. Do you know that is a funny thing, because I just did another section with Yes Education for Vietnam, and at that moment I received the same question, and I still give the answer is no, and the student need to study in a separate English school. But just this morning, only 20 minutes before our section, I received the good news. So I definitely will share with everyone about this good news. But don't worry, now we just signed the MOU, so you can study English and then progress into our program.
That's good. So this means that student they can still can get the package offer for English and other programs of education.
But please wait for my official announcement.
Okay, yeah. We move to the next questions. Hi, can you have a summary entry requirements for undergraduate and postgraduate courses?
Yeah, we think I can share with Miss Hương later. So Miss Hương can share with you.
Okay, yes. So don't worry, because after this webinar, I will share with you about the slides of up education in general, and in the slides, we also specify entry requirement of each institution. Now we move to the next one. I am told that New Zealand visa is open at the moment, means that visa is easier than Australia. Is this correct? That's a
I
very
think this
interesting
question is for
question.
Miss Hương.
Yeah, from my observation, I would say that yes, because New Zealand they are open for international students to come in to invest their educational pathway. So if your student want to study in New Zealand, so I think this time it could be a perfect time, because as you can see that other countries like USA, Canada, or even Australia, they is more strict, and they consider very carefully each application. Very easy to see that they limit the number of international students. This year, next year we'll continuing update you for any new information. But at the moment, yes, I would say that yes, for New Zealand, that's better. Or if your student they want to study in Australia, however, you see that it's quite a bit tough. So still can study in New Zealand for 1 year and then progress to Australia to keep continuing the journey of their studies later. And the visa for sure is also better. I hope that questions will help. And now we move to the next question. I am a Myanmar agent. Wants to know visa rate. Also another question about visa. With Myanmar students to New Zealand, can you share a bit? So at least do you have any student from Myanmar studying at one of institution?
Yes, we actually have quite many students from Myanmar because actually Up Education is one of the pioneers to promote New Zealand in Myanmar. You remember maybe 2 years back when Australia suddenly decided not accepting students from Myanmar to study in Australia. That's why we are actually the pioneer to shift the student interest from Australia to New Zealand. So we have quite a community from Myanmar students to study in New Zealand. And for the visa rate, actually, I can share with you, especially for Myanmar now, it's very unpredictable. So I cannot give you the answer like yes or no. But just last month, we have one visa approval from Myanmar for our pathway. So this is a good sign that I can share with you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Honestly, I don't have many inquiries for Myanmar students who study in New Zealand. However, for Australian markets, it's quite a few. However, it's quite hard at the moment to accept Myanmar students who study in Australia because the majority of Australian institutions they refuse. So if your student they still want to study in Australia, so I think the best way is still just study in New Zealand first, for example, for 6 months or 1 year, and then transfer to Australia because the education environment is not really much different, and also the qualification as well. Now we move to the next one. If a student wants to pursue a master in teaching and learning but does not have a background in education, is there any pathway to enroll in this program? For example, is there a free master's course available for teaching and learning?
We don't require background for our master degree. As long as you have the eligible English and also your bachelor degree is B+, so you can submit to us.
Yeah, so it's open for all students with any background, as long as they get the bachelor degree and satisfy the GPA entry requirement with B and B plus and above. Okay. Next, college will organize ECE students the work placements, and how many hours do they need to collect?
Actually, for the home central base, it's gonna be the student who find the home central base. We also support students to find, but however, if the student find the home central base, they can choose where they want to stay and to study. For example, you remember I told you you can stay in anywhere, right? But if you want us to support you, you will need to stay in the place that we can find the spot for you. Do I make it easier to understand? Right. So it means that the student need to find the home central base first. If somehow you cannot find the home central base, we will find it for you. But if we find it for you, you cannot have the flexibility of decided where you want to stay.
Okay, got it now. Yeah, so in the beginning, student they can find a place for their internship first in case they cannot make it, so they can ask education to help, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And for the hours, you can see it from this slide. So for example, for bachelor degree, we have 16 hours per week, and it's gonna be in 22 weeks. So actually I have all the detail here, and I will share this to you guys later.
I think for this package, no need to worry too much because at the moment in New Zealand, the career of teaching is quite high in demand. So, so I think students when they graduate or even when they are studying that program, even with the internship, so it's not very hard for them to find an internship place. Next to the question from Cambodia, we have students in Cambodia, but not sure if they can enter bachelor or diploma directly instead of via foundation. Please advise.
I believe that this is for our school, right?
Yes,
In New
Cambodian
Zealand,
high
right?
school. I think they ask Cambodian high school diploma if they can enter diploma or bachelor directly.
Oh, this is a very good question. I am checking for you at the moment because I know that for the government,
Mm.
normally the student need to go through foundation, right? So for
Yeah,
let's say
yeah.
example for UB, we accept Cambodian student for the curriculum that complete of higher diploma. Oh no, sorry, you still need to do the foundation certificate.
Yes, yes. So that's why they want to make it clearer.
Yeah,
Or if you are not so sure, so just let us know case by case or share with
yeah,
us the transcript or qualification
yeah.
of the student and the program that your student they want to apply.
Mm,
So we can check case by case.
mm.
Because with this question, it's very, general. So if your
Yeah, I
student
don't
they
know
want
which
to,
program. Yeah.
yeah. So please connect with us later after this webinar if you want to learn more. So we move to the another question. Oh, it's quite interesting from an agent in Vietnam. How's
We have
the
today we have agent from Vietnam too.
yes? How is the visa approval rate from Vietnam for your vocational schools? How long does the average visa processing take?
So far this year, we only have 2 visa refusal. So actually, our visa rate is quite high. I don't have the exact number yet,
Mm,
but from my region, I only received 2 refusal, and I think at the end of the year, we might have better number
mm,
or the detail of the visa rate. But as I said, our school remain in a very that's why we can remain as a category 1 for NZTC because our visa rate is not too low.
mm.
If the
For all
visa rate,
institutions of up education?
yeah, all institution in New Zealand we belong to category 1.
Okay, that's very good. Yeah, that's very good sign for and very positive for applications, not only for Vietnam, but also for other like Cambodia or Myanmar or Laos. Now we move to the next question. Can the child of the applicant study free in the maybe post-study work permit period,
Study working visa.
right? PGWP,
I think they
postgraduate work
mean
permit.
post study working visa. Yeah.
Mm,
Uh, um, Actually, you can find the correct answer in the INZ website, but I believe
mm.
that it's a yes. But please go and check on the official website from New Zealand government, because both me and Miss Huang cannot really give you the exact detail. But maybe you can read on the INZ website.
Yeah, yeah. For visa application, we good advice. However, this is not visa application, so it is our ability,
Mm.
I think. So the best way is to refer that information in the New Zealand government or New Zealand the New Zealand government website to get the exact information. Or at least if you can share the link of New Zealand government or any
Yeah.
information about any type of visa to our agents here, so that could be right.
I will just share the link right now. This include all kind of visa. I say in the chat box.
Thank you. Now we move to the next question. Can the scholarship affect for other years if the student get low GPA in first year?
No, actually, as long as you can pass, the scholarship gonna be remaining until the next year.
So for the whole duration.
Yeah. Of course, if
Okay.
you fail, you cannot continue with the scholarship. But as long as you pass, it's gonna be continuing.
Thank you. And this will be the last question. Can students attend NZCEL course to study to use as a IELTS?
For some program, yes, but especially for teaching program that where we require IELTS 7.0, no, you need to have IELTS.
Okay.
But for other program, yes.
Yeah. So far I see there is no more question. However, I have my own question. Can you share with us a little bit about turnaround time as well as the admission process? For example, in Australia, they on most institutions they accept TS. However, how for New Zealand, so do you require financial documents or something like that?
Oh, thanks, Meet Hương, for bringing it up. Actually, this is another key selling point for New Zealand. We are now don't have, as the school, we don't have any GS or financial document requirement from the school side. So as you only need to update your transcript, your English, your passport, and maybe the SOP. So we will issue the offer, and the turnaround time for us is 2 to 3 working days only.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I think so far no more questions, so we will wrap up the webinar now. Thank you, Alice, and all of our agents partners here for spending your time with us. So please keep in touch, and I hope to see you soon in our next webinar trainings.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Miss Hương, for inviting me. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.